notice that whatever there is in existence is. In other words, being is the common factor in whatever exists. Existence, from the Latin ex sistere, means to stand out from. So any kind of object, be that object a thought, a feeling, a sound, a physical object, a planet, or any object that exists, stands out from a single background, being. So whilst we can say that many things and many people exist or seem to exist, everything and everyone borrows its existence, its apparently independent existence, from a single reality, namely being. So at the level of existence, there are many things, but those many things are an appearance of one thing, which is of course not a thing, namely being. So although everything that exists seems to be discrete and independent and finite and temporary, they are everything, and everyone ultimately is an appearance or a manifestation of a single, infinite and indivisible whole or reality. Just as all the apparently separate faces on the screen you see in front of you, if you're on gallery view, are all appearances of a single indivisible screen. For most people, the appearance of things veils their reality. In other words, most of us believe and feel that the apparently independent people and things that we experience, and ourself being one such person, exist in their own right. In other words, that everything and everyone has its own discrete and independent existence, and we are just one such self amongst numerous other objects and selves. This is a paradigm which, by definition, implies unhappiness on the inside and conflict on the outside. We should understand this very clearly. It is not possible for a self which considers itself to be a temporary, finite, separate self to find peace and happiness on the inside, or to find harmony and love on the outside. In fact, the experiences of happiness on the inside and love and beauty on the outside are precisely those experiences where the reality, the sole reality of all seeming things, shines through our experience. That's what happiness is, the shining of reality inside us, and the experiences of love and beauty are the shining of the same reality outside of us, or apparently outside of us. That is, in relationship to people and things. It is not necessary to change the appearance in any way. Just like it is not necessary for us to get rid of all the faces on our screen in order to recognize that we are seeing a single screen. Likewise, it is not necessary to change the content of our experience in order to understand and, more importantly, to feel that everything we experience inside ourselves and apparently outside ourselves is a manifestation of the same infinite, intimate, indivisible whole or reality. And we are free either to allow the appearance of things to veil that reality, or to understand and feel that the appearance of things shines with that reality. Take a look at the faces for those of you with your eyes open. Don't worry if you want to keep your eyes closed, just keep your eyes closed. But for those of you with your eyes open, go into the top right-hand corner, click Gallery View. Are you allowing, how many faces do you see? 25 faces or 49 faces? Are you allowing the 25 faces, or 30 faces if you've got a rectangle 6 by 5? Are you allowing the 30 faces to veil your screen? Or do they shine with the presence of the screen? The faces themselves don't have any veiling power. It is our belief that confers upon them the ability either to veil the screen or not. Or likewise, our experience by itself doesn't really conceal its reality, namely God's infinite being. It is we who believe that it does. In other words, it is we, when I say we, the mind, that believes that what is really out there is a multiplicity and diversity of discrete and independently existing objects and selves. That belief seems to veil reality. As soon as that belief subsides, the very experience which once seemed to veil reality now shines with it. So it is not true to say that appearances veil reality any more than it is true to say a movie veils the screen. It is our belief that confers upon experience its ability to veil its reality or not. And we are free at every moment to make that choice. Am I going to see 10,000 discrete and independently existing people and selves? Or am I going to see one infinite and indivisible reality, whose name is God or consciousness or the self or whatever we like? We are free to make that choice. And strangely, and perhaps not so strangely, what we experience will confirm whatever view we have of it. If we think that reality, if we believe that reality consists of a multiplicity and diversity of discrete and independently existing objects and selves, it will seem to do so. In other words, our experience will seem to confirm separation. And the way reality will confirm this view to us is the experience of unhappiness on the inside and conflict on the outside. That is reality's way of confirming or appearing in accordance with our belief of it. If, on the other hand, we make the choice, if we understand and feel that the apparent multiplicity and diversity of objects and selves, the 10,000 things that we experience, are all a manifestation of, an expression of a single infinite and indivisible reality, then that understanding will be confirmed by happiness on the inside and love and beauty on the outside. Love in relation to people and animals, and beauty in relation to objects and nature. Remember the beautiful hymn by George Herbert, dating back to the 16th century. Teach me, in traditional religious language, of course, teach me, my God and King, in all things thee to see, and what I do in anything to do it as for thee. A man may look on glass, and on it stay his eye, or if he pleaseth, through it pass, and then may heaven espy. This beautiful prayer of an apparent self to infinite being, a prayer from an apparently limited self to infinite being, asking that infinite being to inform the way that that apparent self experiences. And what I do in anything to do it as for thee. This prayer of that the individual self's actions are governed by its understanding that there is a single reality that everyone and everything shares. Imagine if our politicians, if the leaders of our institutions, if our educators understood that everyone and everything is one, shares their being. Imagine the power of that single, simple understanding. And imagine we don't have to imagine it, experiment with it, the transformation of our own lives, both our internal life of thoughts and feelings and our external life of activities and relationships, how it would be transformed by this single understanding. So, just check from time to time that this understanding, that your thoughts and feelings and your subsequent activities and relationships are informed by this understanding. As this understanding becomes clearer and clearer in us, the distinction between meditation and life really dissolves. If we go inwards into the center of or the heart of our self, we find being, amness. If we go outwards towards people and things, we find the isness. It's the same. We find the same being shining at the heart of ourself as we find shining at the heart of objects and others. So really, it doesn't matter where we go with our attention. Meditation no longer needs to be a turning away from the content of experience. Because when we turn towards the content of our experience, wherever we go with our attention, the reality of what we find is the same as the reality we find within ourselves. So what does it matter whether we go inwards and outwards? In fact, the whole idea of inwards and outwards is still part of the old paradigm of separation, numerous beings. In being, there is no inside or outside. There is only an inside and an outside at the level of appearances, at the level of existence, at the level of manifestation. Traditionally, the mystic goes inwards, the artist and scientist goes outwards. And as we know from the testimony of the great mystics, the great artists and the great scientists, if either party goes far enough, they arrive at the same conclusion. It's only those that don't go far enough, either on the inward-facing path or the outward-facing path, for whom there are still differences. But those who go all the way in either direction, inwards or outwards, come to the same inevitable, inescapable conclusion. So don't discipline or control your attention. It would only be necessary to do so if some things you attended to were not real and other things that you attended to were real. But once it is clear that everything, the wonderful, the awful, and everything in between shines with the same reality, then there is no longer any question of distractions, because there is nothing to be distracted. For whatever might distract us is itself an expression of that from which we do not want to be distracted.